value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at Stockton Con.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of Stockton Con. The value of wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out to Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We gonna shut the shit down. Love and respect, all right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother.
Oh, you didn't know? You better call somebody. Welcome, la-di-da-di, to the party. This is your post-show Monday night review for your post. This is your Monday Night Raw review post-show. I'm going to get the English right. I'm going to put those words together. Going to mix them up. Going to get them out to you. This is the Value of Wrestling. This is your post-show review right here on YouTube. Welcome to the party. La-di-da-di. Everybody join in. Everybody get started. What a night it was. This was a good night of wrestling and performing arts and a good show. Did we get a whole lot of wrestling in the show? People are going to complain, did we know wrestling? Tony Khan gives you more wrestling. This show wasn't about to have wrestling. This show was anchored by an awesome start to the show with a hot Cody Rhodes and a Rock. And we got in the middle there a great segment between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. And then we ended it kind of hot with a moment that's really going to set what comes next. And I don't know. We're going to really talk about this. This is a really damn good show. I know for you people who are like, there wasn't enough wrestling on this show. Well, I mean, you know, it's WrestleMania season. Not all these shows have to just be loaded with wrestling. There was a good point. When they give you good promo segments, then I don't think you really got to worry about the wrestling. There were some good matches in between. There was one match that was kind of meh. But overall, this was an awesome show. I'm sorry for once. This was probably the best Raw so far of 2024. I think whatever you say, you can say it's average, you can say it's good, but I think this is probably the best show of 2024. It was hot. It had a lot of action. It drew heat in places that it needed to draw heat. It was fun tonight. It was definitely on your seat. Didn't know what was going to come next at times. And there was some great zingers, great liners in here. I mean, good God almighty. Like DDP would used to say, good God. Mr. Clarke, let me introduce you. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. He's the one, the only. Oh, yeah. And you know me, it's me. I'm the big time. I'm here. We are live early. Yes, Mr. Miguel Z. He's in the chat there. He's going to hold it down. Join in the chat. Join in the conversation. Make sure you go ahead and hit the votes there. We are 1/3 for each, and I only have 2 likes, so make sure you're hitting that like button. Let's get that out of there. Make sure you share this out across the platforms, all your social media, let your friends, family, and everybody that you know loves professional wrestling know that the Value of Wrestling is live on air with your post-show Monday Night Raw review. I know we're going up against some heavy fighters in the IWC, but I'm going to tell you, this is the place to be. Let it be. Oh, believe that. Very soon, we're going to have a new song coming out for you. I think we're going to pull a little bit of out of the basket, a little Joe Henry. We're working on a little bit of magic. Me and Mr. Clarke got a little magic for you here real soon. Once we get that out, that's going to be awesome. So be ready for that. We got a song coming out from the Value of Wrestling. You wanted to hear singing? Well, we're going to give you some singing. Anyways, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Mr. Clarke, what are your opening statements about tonight's show?
Man, this from top to bottom, I have to agree with you. Best Raw. Maybe it's just because we're so close to WrestleMania that they're finally starting to pull the stops. Best Raw of the year so far, hands down.
Yes, no, it is definitely one of the best Raws we've had all year. I'm excited to see where this goes, and a lot to talk about here. And I can't wait to see what we're going to get on Friday night and how it goes from there. So, of course, we get a recap of SmackDown to start the show. We get to see CM Punk pull up in his own G-Wagon, and yes, Cody Rhodes is here all dressed up, and the crowd is hot. And out comes Cody. The Cody inquires what we'd like to talk about, and of course Cody comes out, and we get kind of a mixed reaction. We get some boos and we get some cheers, and it's overall cheers. We get a little bit of boos in the beginning here, but he comes out. Reigns is yes, it's Chicago, Philadelphia, New York. There's these towns that you just never know what you're going to get exactly from it all. And Reigns has been talking quite a bit, particularly on the Pat McAfee show. Pat gets a pop. We see Pat. He's dressed in some type of Rock ripoff cosplay uniform, I guess you can call it. I don't know. Anyway, Cody brings up Cole, too, and he even gets a pop. As for Reigns, he says he's been saying Cody has been making promises that he cannot keep, that hurt Cody, but this city, more than others, should know that when he makes a bet or a promise, he keeps it. And if you don't know the reference to Chicago and Cody Rhodes, well, then I guess you need to go find the very original, very first All In. That's not a reference to the other company. That was before the other company. Of course, you have to go to that company to buy it now. Yes. Someone asked him if he'd be the best man. Oh, he talked about making promises. He asked somebody asked him if he'd be the best man in his wedding, and imagined a combo with his wife saying he's paying for the bachelor party and attending the wedding. And who's Anthony? It was great there. Imagine a family asking for tickets, and they'll be going to both nights of WrestleMania. The reason he does the things he does is not desperation. He dresses the way he dresses and talks the way he and talks and walks how he does for a simple reason. He pretends to be the champion because the champion isn't here. He respects Reigns, but makes no mistake that he is aware that Reigns screwed him out of the biggest dream he ever had. Although he respects him, please understand that he hates Roman's guts. It's fine if Raymond hates him too. It's his fault that he and The Rock can't have their wank fest at Mania, as he put it. It's simple. He won the Rumble not once but twice. Cody asked if we would all point to the Mania sign. Pointing at the sign, that means what he said. 2 main events, defeating The Rock, and he was yabbering on when The Rock's music hit and out-rocked The Rock. And The Rock enters the ring and walks around Cody, gives some love to the crowd. He gets some cheers in the beginning. And The Rock stands there and soaks it all in. He whispers something to Cody. We don't know what it is. We get Rocky suck chants eventually. Then we get holy shit chants in this. We get some censoring the shit out. It was sucks. Then we got the great "This is awesome" chant. And then we ended up with a CM Punk chant. Neither the Cody or The Rock had a mic at this point. Rock opens his arms and puts his hands back behind his body. He does one of these things and then kind of goes with them behind his back up. And then The Rock basically leaves. He just turns around, walks out of the ring, and the loudest boos I've heard in a long time came running down on The Rock. He got booed big time here for saying nothing. So he just whispered something in Cody's ears, and then he walked away. Cody looked startled and a little shaken by the whole scene. The Rock walks away, gets major heat, which he needed at this point. What a segment to open the show. I mean, I don't know if I can articulate just what we got in this moment. It was a moment. Cody was doing his thing. The Rock was rumored to be there, but not told. None of us were told to be there. There was the rumor speculation that he'd be there, but it wasn't something that was necessarily advertised. And so we got The Rock. It was a big moment, a big pop. Chicago reacted, and we went through many emotions in that short time. We got Cody chants, we got Rock chants, we got Rock sucks chants, we got holy shit chants, we got this is awesome chants. The emotions and and this is what some people. This is what I miss sometimes in AEW. This crowd was lively. This crowd was chanting everything. You could feel the emotions in this crowd. This crowd brought you in, not only because you saw Cody and The Rock in this moment, but the crowd being excited got you excited at home. This was amazing. I think this was a good moment and put a lot of heat on The Rock because he did something great. He said nothing. You're just like, oh. And the heat he got just made that moment so much better. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on this opening segment?
I thought it was really interesting that Cody, before The Rock came out, was doing this super white meat babyface promo, just like so to a degree stereotypical as far as just like how babyface he was going with it. But by the same token, I guess that's what was needed, because when The Rock came out, Rock brought the heat without even having to say anything. Everything was about the pose. Everything was about the presence. And sometimes that's all you need. Rock showed you he doesn't have to speak to get you to notice him and to get this story where it continuously needs to be, to elevate the story. Because now we want to watch SmackDown. What will Rock say on SmackDown, if anything? What next week when Rock and Roman are on Raw? What will they say? What will Cody say? So I mean, there's a lot of mystery, even though we have no clue what The Rock whispered in Cody's ear.
No, and one thing they did, they kind of teased that through the rest of the night, left us hanging there for a little bit, but they never really gave us an answer on that. But it was a great moment. It was great. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, you were like, wow. There was a moment here that is once in a great while that we get to live through these great moments where something happens in the ring that just kind of organically happens in a way that you're just captivated by. And this was just a moment that I don't know. I mean, it was planned. Yes, I understand that there was probably this plan. You're going to go out there, you're not going to say anything. But I don't think, The Rock, Triple H, Cody, or anybody really knows how that's going to play out. You can plan out these things, but for me, it was more about how this crowd was involved from the beginning moments of Cody coming out to when The Rock showed up, to the many emotions. And there was, the chants are those emotions. You could feel those chants. You could feel that emotion. You could feel that tide swing. And then when The Rock said nothing and stepped out of the ring, the boos rained down louder than any. They were Dominic Keel boos loud. It was coming down on The Rock, and it was amazing, and it was just so much fun to watch. It was one of those things you weren't going to turn away from this moment. This was one of those, I'm watching the TV, I ain't getting up to go drink, I ain't getting up to do nothing. I'm here going, what's going to happen?
Although to kind of go on to something that Miguel said off air earlier, the fact that Cody Rhodes did kind of do a little book club, gesture is kind of nice, which tells you that whatever happens between him and AEW, it's not the overall company. It had to be Tony Khan specifically, because he's still giving credence. He's still giving shout outs to his boys.
Yes. No, and I don't think it's ever been about the group that he was a part of. I don't think he has any issues with them. Whatever happened was between really Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes, as I can figure it out. Obviously, Cody doesn't have an issue with his buddies, the Tampon Bucks. Hashtag Tampon Bucks. Period. Sorry, Cody. I know those are your boys, but they're Tampon Bucks. Thank you. But it's good. And the rest of that crew, that's just not them. But the whole Bullet Club, it's nice that Cody does give recognition to that. And I don't think AJ sometimes gives the credit in his little things that he does that are giving credit to the Bullet Club, especially even if it's just, the Japanese writing on his trunks and still wearing some of that, what he wore when he wrestled in Japan.
Absolutely.
Anyways, from there we got Ricochet backstage, jumping the jump rope faster than I could ever imagine jumping a jump rope. I was like, damn it, boy, I can't do that no more. I might get one, but I don't know about that. And then we head backstage. Here's Jackie. She asks The Rock what she whispered to The Rock here, and The Rock doesn't let her know. She will have to ask Cody about that. Anyways, we get Ricochet versus JD McDonough. So Ricochet beat JD McDonough, beat Dom, and now we're here for a rematch between Ricochet and JD McDonough. This was a damn good match. Just went back and forth. We got some awesome moves here. We got a beautiful Spanish fly from JD for a 2, and then he got the headlock. He locks the head. We get a brainbuster for 2. JD grabs Ricochet in the corner. We get a poison Rana with a recoil for a 2. We got a 450 onto the knees with a roll up for a 2. We got a beautiful spin up for a power bomb into a pin for a 2. A Canadian destroyer out of nowhere, which is just damn beautiful. Ricochet and JD McDonough brought this tonight. They decided, hey, there's not a lot of action on this card. We're going to be the ones that are going to live up to the hype. We're going to open this show hot. For people who are complaining, there wasn't a lot of wrestling on the show. This match should have made up for that because it was a damn good match. Dom eventually gets in. Ricochet crotches himself. Ref kicks Dom out, and the crowd go hyped for it. JD runs up the corner. Ricochet punches him. Ricochet stands tall, flies a shooting star to the standing Jay McDonough for a cover. 1, 2, 3. This match went 14 minutes, 22 seconds, and this person's giving it a 4-star. This was, wasn't a 5-star classic because I got to agree with Kenny Omega on some things. You can't just give out 5 stars, but damn, a good match on a Raw. The Rana looked nasty. That Canadian destroyer out of nowhere, and then he did a standing shooting star. You're You're just like, damn, these boys decided to say, hey, we may not be on the card for WrestleMania. Let's show them why, with a little more than 12 days, 11 days left, why we deserve to be on that WrestleMania card. If I don't get to see Ricochet in some form with maybe Judgment Day, Ricochet or Dom or whatever they're going to go down and do, I mean, damn, these two guys brought it tonight. It was a damn good match. There was nothing to dock here. Mr. Clarke.
I think this was another fine example of why JD McDonough should be getting some wins eventually, like soon. Because he's shown you he can wrestle, he can go. Ricochet, we've known for years, can go. He hasn't, because of the former Daddy Booker, just didn't push him right. Triple H is starting to say, hey, not only are we going to give you a showcase, now we're also going to finally give you some wins to remind the people why you are as good as we have the commentators say you are. So it's like, it's not talk about it anymore. It's let's be about it. Let's show you why. And this was just a fine match to say, over 14 minutes of this was professional wrestling from a sports entertainment company.
Yes. No, this was stellar. I mean, you can't, I don't know. People are going to get mad because I know there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling in this show, but we got a hot rock and then we got this beautiful match. I know the first hour and a half of this show was not really a wrestling heavy show, but oh my God, you started off the show hot. By the end of this show, you were still just like, whoo, you were still coming down from a breather, and we still got some bangers towards the end.
And here's the thing though about not having a wrestling heavy show. Everything is pointing towards WrestleMania. Now, if we said this about WrestleMania, that it wasn't a wrestling heavy show, okay, then you have an argument, because that's your main spotlight. That's your end of the chapter finale. Mm-hmm. But right now, we're just trying to get there. And so we're trying to, or they, meaning the company, are trying to provide interest to get you there, to get those eyeballs there. So as long as you kept your interest, as long as you were entertained,
yes,
I don't see what the problem is.
Later on tonight, Jey Uso's going to take on Shinsuke Nakamura for the first time. So that's going to be a great thing. And ladies and gentlemen, the music hit, and here's CM Punk. And boy, he got a louder chant than anybody else tonight. Of course, we're in Chicago, so it's Chicago made. It's the second city. It's the second city saint, the second city son. It is CM Punk. It is Chicago made Punk. It is the one, the only Punk. Chicago is happy to see their buddy. He got a lot of things to get to and a lot of business to conduct. But before all that, it is good to be alive in Chicago on Monday night. Everyone is asking if he's going to be at Mania. The short answer is yes. He's not medically cleared, but his mouth still works. Awesome moment there that reflects on CM Punk. It's so much. Yeah, when Punk talks about his mouth and smiles like that, you just know he's singing some people. There's just, he's putting it to some people, even though we may not know who they certainly are, but he is definitely making sure he has a mouth that works, and he will say anything. I mean, The only thing that missed tonight was maybe a Punk Rock face-to-face. Oh, I hope we get that at some point, because those two men go to face-to-face, especially after tonight. People have suggested he host WrestleMania. 10 years ago, if he'd asked him to do that, he would have felt it was beneath him. He wishes Mania was in Chicago, hint, hint. People ask him if maybe he can be a referee. Is there a match that he could referee? A lot of people talk about him. It seems that even those who hate need to talk about him. And then he goes over to Pat McAfee, and Pat McAfee had Roman Reigns on the show. Why does Roman Reigns need to bring up Punk? Of course, Punk also says that, unfortunately, he doesn't watch the Pat McAfee show. He watches The Experience and The Drive-Thru, which are Jim Cornette shows. So Jim Cornette getting a little love from CM Punk. Can't wait to hear what he has to say about this on his podcast, The Drive-Thru, The Experience. Gotta love it. You can love or hate Jim Cornette. We appreciate Jim Cornette. Don't always have to agree with him, but Jim Cornette has a great opinion. He's entertaining. He has an opinion. You don't have to always agree with it, but I mean, if you can take it, enjoy it for what it is. And maybe I'm old school. Maybe I've learned in life that you don't always have to agree with everybody. I guess, maybe because me and you were friends, and you were Bret Hart and I was Shawn Michaels, and we didn't always see eye to eye. And WrestleMania 12 was one of those times, but I mean, I don't get how people can't, at least enjoy Cornette for who he is. You don't have to agree with everything he says, but it was really, really, he does some good stuff. Anyway, so we got that reference. He earned it. But he was feeling that he's coming back and climbing the mountains, and Rain was be the back way up the mountains. Another guy, Seth Rollins, they go way back and don't see eye to eye, mostly because he wears heels now. But LOLing at him hurting his arm, maybe he earned that. But coming from someone with 2 bad knees, it's kind of funny. Someone who hasn't said a word about him is The Rock. Yes, CM Punk refers to The Rock in this whole thing, which is very interesting. Maybe because 10 years ago he came face to face with the Second City Satan and realized that his arms were too short to box with God. And that was just Punk, the camera work, everything came out perfect in that moment. When he was like, maybe your arms are too short to box with God. I mean, talk about a reference throwback and just all of that. Oh, beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then out came Drew. Punk hasn't said a word. He handles his business live and in living color. And when you got a problem in Chicago, you handle it face to face like a man. And out came Drew McIntyre. Of course, Punk asked for that stupid song to be turned off. Punk isn't medically clear, but he doesn't want to have a wrestling match. So get your B-ass in here, Punk implores him. Drew's on top of the ramp. He'd love to get down there and beat Punk's arse. But the last time they were together, he stomped a little stupid arm. He stomped his stupid little arm. Punk wonders if he's a Scottish psychopath in a kilt or a girl wearing a skirt. Drew says this is perfect. Drew has a title shot. This is divine. Tells Punk don't get himself canceled in this comment. It's a new era. We get culture. We get cancel culture rips here by Drew McIntyre. Drew shows his shirt with a checklist that had injured CM Punk first. Punk says that he's never had to put another man's name on a shirt to sell it. Then Drew rips off that shirt and he's got the other shirt. Drew calls it ironic that although he is straight edge, he is always in rehab. Punk tells the crowd to boo this man. Drew talks about lifting weights and calls Punk his muse. Punk wants an attack, but Drew says he's from Chicago, so probably has a weapon. Punk lays on the mic. Drew sits crisscross on the Punk sits crisscross in the ring. Drew sits crisscross on the announce table. This stuff is just great. I mean, you're just like, this is awesome. Drew, and then the greatest line of this whole conversation, Drew tells everybody he was the chosen one, and Punk runs with it. Punk goes, chosen by who? What was his name? What man of good virtue did this? It wasn't the people of Chicago. Drew tells him to get it in why he can't, but he'll be out for months still. Drew has an idea. How about Punk be a guest commentator for this match? And we'll slow here. But yeah, Punk, Drew McIntyre, formerly known as the Chosen One in WWE, because somebody called him the Chosen One. And that man was redacted. And so, yes, we all know who the man that made the Chosen One. Punk tag team matches, give me Rock versus Cody Rhodes night one. Yeah, that would be probably pretty good. I don't think I can be too much about it, but I think we're going to get that down the line, hopefully. So we'll see. But yeah, no, the Chosen One, Drew McIntyre out here. And there's only one man that told him that he was the chosen one, and that man was redacted. So, yeah. No, there's a great line by Shea Jr. that said, he would have laughed if Drew would have just said redacted instead of, when he said, who was that? Redacted. So that's why I'm using the redacted line there. Redacted. He shall not be dated. No, his name's redacted. That's all you got. Redacted now. We're just going to be redacted. Or we can, I don't have it in here, do I? I got to go all the way over to another. Let me see if I can go to another show. We can do this, maybe, if I can find the button. I can say, yes, Vince. Yep. Anyways, this brings out Seth Rollins. He's late to the party, but fashionably late. So the crowd starts to sing his song, but once he and Punk go face to face, the crowd starts chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. Seth welcomes Chicago to the Monday Night Rollins now that we've firmly established whose show it is. And has been and will be if these two kids would stop bickering. Punk chant starts. It's Seth's show, but it's his city. Seth knows this is an away game. But if they're done trying to outroll each other, they should know that they don't get to make decisions about this title match when Punk is not even in it. But since they want everyone's opinion, he'll figure it. Let's go all the way and poll the city. Should CM Punk be on commentary? The crowd seems pro. They chant referee. Seth points out that he can't count with one injured arm. Punk hits the mat and counts a 3 count with his other arm. Punk calls them both dipshits, saying he doesn't know how he can be objectively fair. Yes, we get the PG thing. Drew calls him out for PG, brother, which was great. Seth asks, "You want to know what I think?" Punk says, "Nope," which was great. Seth says nothing. He doesn't think about him. He doesn't even cross his mind. Seth Rollins basically tells us he doesn't care about Punk. If Punk does commentary, it'll be about as close to the title shot he'll ever get again. He can do whatever he wants at Mania, but he needs to stay out of Seth's way. Punk says, okay, it's decided. He'll sit next to Cole and Pat and do a little commentary. He'll guarantee both of them that he'll do something that no one could never do, include bringing up Becky, make them both interesting. Drew wants the music to stop. Drew's obsessed with the title. Punk is obsessed with him. Drew is living Punk's dream. Punk is his number one stan. And then Drew goes on to sing Eminem's Stan in the moment. And CM Punk walks away. Drew gets in the ring. He starts singing Stan to Punk, pretending that he, does his best Eminem impression. And he gets super kicked by Seth for the best of it, and then stomp to Drew. Good God Almighty. Was this not a great promo package? CM Punk brought it to another level. We need more CM Punk on TV, period. I don't care if his arm's injured. We need this man to get out there and shoot promos. We need this man on commentary. We need this man on weekly TV. He brings the excitement and turns it up. He just has to talk a little bit, and you're already like, yep. And tonight, I mean, good God, all three of these men, you can't say that Seth and Drew have been as interesting as they were tonight with CM Punk. Their interactions, CM Punk, the chosen one, the zingers, the moments, you're just like, this is awesome. Mr. Clarke.
CM Punk started by saying he gave you a little bit of foreshadowing. He says his mouth still works.
Mm-hmm.
He told you all you need to know that this was going to be a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Drew McIntyre could keep up is great. Because sometimes what you do separately is one thing, but when you're in the same space, that's when the real test happens. Can you go toe to toe, just even on a promo? Seth Rollins, we know can do it. I think he's better in the ring though than his mic skills personally.
I think Seth is good when he's not playing. I mean, he didn't really show it tonight, but when he gets away from the whole Joker thing and the ha 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 and the laughing, when he gets serious and he's pissed off, he's good on a mic. When he's legit like on fire, he's good. And Drew's been decent. The Seth Rollins Drew thing's been okay. It hasn't been like this high priority. But tonight, it got interesting. They added this twist, and Punk brought the best out of both these guys. I can't wait to see Punk and Drew McIntyre have their match. I can't wait to see their promos with one another when we're building to their actual match, not just a one-off like this. This made Drew and Seth much more interesting than they had been in the last few weeks. This made Raw even more interesting. I mean, we had a quote-unquote surprise of The Rock coming in. Some people knew. There was rumors and speculation he was going to be there, but it wasn't announced for one.
Advertised.
Yes. And then we knew Punk was going to be there. We didn't know what Punk was going to do, and they gave us Punk, Drew, and Seth all in the same promo, and it built on one another. You had CM Punk there. Drew came out. Drew and Punk had their moment, which built to Seth coming out, and then Seth added to that, and then you continued Seth to Drew to end it all. It fit in a package. It just made everything that much more interesting. It was exciting. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, please. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch it, I understand. We're out here on the West Coast. It is just about time that Punk's coming on TV on the West Coast right now. If you're watching, I know we watched it earlier because we're trying to get this show out earlier if we can. But if you're watching it now on the West Coast, you're getting some of the best entertaining TV in a long time. I mean, this is part of what made tonight's Raw just that much better. Great stuff. Go watch it. I'm going to go watch it back on SmackDown once it comes up on the air. I'll probably watch it on Hulu here in a little bit because I do have it DVRing. But I mean, this was just. I mean, I don't know how you get any better classic. And just the fact that they talked about Redacted without even mentioning him, and Punk calls, so you have the balls, and you can see this shit-eating grin on Drew's face, just like, like yeah.
I can't say his name, but had nothing to do with balls. Has to do with
intelligence.
Yeah.
No. It was just great that Drew put himself out there, and Punk came right back with him, like, oh, who called you that? Who was it? Who? You're waiting for Kofi and Xavier Woods to come out.
Oh Lord.
You're waiting for Xavier and Kofi Kingston to come out and go, Whoo, you know? Oh, man. I know we were talking about this. The first 30 minutes have been the talk of all this stuff. And I mean, hey, it was awesome. This first hour and a half of this show is, woo! You're on a ride for your life. From there, we got the Shinsuke Nakamura promo where he's talking about Jay and taking him into his nightmare. And we go to commercial break. We come back. No entrance for the women tonight. We got Ivy Nile versus Candice LeRae. Candice starts with knees, knocking Ivy out of the ring. Candice distracts the referee as Indy is shown walking slowly to Ivy. Candice tosses Ivy outside again and distracts the ref again. Indy is still unsure of her role. Maxine hops on the apron. Candice shoves her off. Candice tells the ref her knees hurt. The ref checks on Candice. Indy is still shows major hesitation. Ivy rolls into the ring, rushes the corner. Candice rolls her up and uses the rope for a pin to get a 1, 2, 3. This match was under 2 minutes. It went very fast. Candice LeRae getting her big win here as she's slowly burning her heel turn here. Indy Hartwell very confused. We don't know what side she's going to wind up on. I don't know if she's going to eventually give in to this heel and just back up her friend, or if she's going to turn on her friend. A lot of possibilities here, but we're starting to see this change in Candice LeRae. We're going to have to see where it goes, how it plays out. People are probably going to hate on this because it was very short. They didn't get their entrance. They didn't make this match feel important. I'm assuming possibly with the 2 dual promos already and the Punk, Drew McIntyre, and Seth Rollins, I'm probably thinking these things ran over a little bit. So they probably wanted to rush these women, probably why they didn't get their entrance. It's sad, but I guess, I mean, you know, I love Candice LeRae. I think Ivy and I think both these women are good in the ring, but I can understand why WWE might have rushed this and got it quickly in and out because there wasn't a whole lot to say here. We know Candice LeRae is feuding with Maxine. Ivy was defending Maxine. There's a small story here, but I don't know if this is a necessary important story going into WrestleMania. This may be a bigger story coming out of WrestleMania than going into WrestleMania.
Despite the fact that it was a short match, like, I'm not even mad at it. I got to see Candice get a win.
Yes.
That's
a big thing.
The fact that, because she's been, since coming up to the main roster, she's been used as enhancement talent. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. So the fact that she's turned heel and she's slowly starting to get win after win, even if it's the shortest match as heck, you've got a story that you can continue to build upon, and she gets a win. I'm happy as heck.
Yes. Anyways, you know, I know a lot of people are going to hate on that, but I mean, I think it's, again, I'm going to say, I think this match is not necessarily something they're booking in creative for WrestleMania. There might be something that pays off at WrestleMania, but I think this match is more about what's going to happen after WrestleMania. I think we're going to see Candice's heel turn and whatever's going to go on more after Mania than going into Mania. So I think they're just starting to plant the seeds, and we're going to have to let this one play out a little bit. From there, the New Day and DIY are arguing backstage about the origins of their name. New Day making fun of DIY like, do it yourself. That's kind of hard if you're a tag team. Anyways, it's supposed to be a friendly competition, they say. This is when Awesome Truth comes in. Oh, yeah, I forgot to talk about. The only thing I was disappointed in seeing Punk, he was wearing an ugly Chicago Cubs wrestling title. And, of course, then R-Truth shows up with a Chicago White Sox title. You know, now you can get your favorite team. I will possibly have to get one day from my team, but that's another day, another dollar, and another time. Truth is hype, saying tonight we'll see the New Day against DX. He told JBL tonight that he'd be down there for a commentary, and Miz says, no, that's Pat McAfee. Truth says, bless you. You mean that JBL has changed his name? R-Truth doing what R-Truth does. If you watch the background, you saw Drew McIntyre having words with Paul Heyman. Interesting that they're having stuff in the background. What could that mean? What are we going to get out of that? We're going to have to wait and see. Jey Uso gets his video package, but before he really gets going, Jey Uso gets a video package covering his family being a highlight at WrestleMania 9. Now he gets to do the same. Anyway, DIY versus the New Day. We get Kofi and Ciampa to start. Kofi with a dropkick, big kick. We get a 2 count. Gargano with a blind tag. They double team Kofi. Gargano with a chop to the corner. Whip to the corner. Kofi ducks. Gargano rolls him away. Kicks. Misses. Kofi with a famouser. Cover for 2. Kofi with a headbutt. Tag to Woods. Unicorn Stampede. The New Day send DIY out of the ring as Truth sends us to break. We are back, and Ciampa has Woods hurting with a clothesline in the corner, and in comes Kofi, double clothesline, tag to the New Day, double team to Kofi, then Woods. Gargano kicks Kofi out of the ring. He hits the ropes and dives through the ropes onto both Woods and Kofi, and here comes Judgment Day, and this match is thrown out as they all brawl. Eventually, Miz and Truth were at commentary. Miz gets in the ring. R-Truth continues hilarious commentary while Judgment Day works on DIY and New Day. The crowd chants for R-Truth as Dom hits a frog splash. Miz is over it, and he enters the ring of the attack. And Truth stays on commentary. Priest hits Miz with a South of Heaven, and then Priest points to Truth. He says tonight he is commentary. He is not fighting tonight. He tells Pat to go to commercial break. Finn rips off his headset, and Priest takes Truth into the ring. Truth hits Finn, and then Finn, Truth gets a big moment here where he fights off everybody until Priest comes in, lifts him up for a razor's edge into a coup de grace. And so we're going to continue and really build on this tag team tournament. This is a great moment. It was a decent match. DIY, New Day having a little bit of fun here, but getting Judgment Day here, a lot of fun and a good segment. It may not have been all wrestling, but it definitely set up for what we're coming into WrestleMania for. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
A little teaser was, like, obviously not much of a match, going 6 minutes and 30 seconds, but the point was to lead into next week and to lead into WrestleMania. So I was like, not mad at it. Nice little way to kind of get everyone involved and remind each other. It's like, these tag team belts are the most important thing right now to Judgment Day. And they're definitely on the warpath.
Yes, no, it's a very important thing to Judgment Day, and they're coming out to show that nobody's going to take them down, and they took out everybody in this moment, which is really, really good. And, set up what we're going to get. We still have 2 teams that are outstanding. We're going to find that out on SmackDown. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Jackie is backstage with Cody. She wants to know what The Rock said. Cody says he's sorry to us and Jackie, but he'd rather not speak what The Rock said. He can say that The Rock made a promise that he can't keep. From there, we have Gunther, who is with Kathy backstage, and boy, oh boy, Kathy backstage, she asked Gunther what he thought of Sammy's words last week. He says Sammy's words were empty. He doesn't believe he can beat Gunther. They are in Chicago tonight. There are a bunch of fatties thinking just like Sammy. He can't beat Gunther. He doesn't think Sammy will beat Bronson Reed tonight either. So tonight it was advertised originally. It was going to be Andrade versus Ivar. I thought it was going to be a weird, interesting match at this point. For whatever reason that I don't really know of or haven't heard of. I don't know if you've heard of any reason why this match didn't happen. We got it changed.
Ivar wasn't cleared on commentary.
Okay. So Ivar wasn't cleared, and we got Giovanni Vinci, Andrade, and Giovanni Vinci, a very good match. Andrade with a huge chop whip to the ropes. Moonsault to the outside. He should probably show Charlotte how to do it. We get Vinci in the ropes, crossbody to Andrade, back from break, where Andrade hits some running knees to Vinci in the corner for a cover for 2. Andrade with a waist lock. Vinci hits a clothesline. He flips Andrade up. Andrade lands on his feet. Vinci with a huge chop. But Andrade hits back elbows off the rope whip, then spins Vinci with a spinning suplex. He calls the message and gets a cover for the 1, 2, 3. This match went 7 minutes, 8 seconds. A good, solid match. Good going for Andrade. And you got to be happy that Andrade's here, but we really didn't get any continuation of the Andrade story with the Judgment Day this week. We had that segment last week. We were supposed to get something, but we really didn't get anything out of that.
I felt like they were going to continue that next week because the point of this week was to see what Andrade can do. Like take care of business and.
Well, they didn't really make any reference to Judgment Day watching him or add anything to.
Right. But I'm saying I'm going based off of what the promo last week.
Yes. No, I know.
Yeah, they did.
No, I just thought they would give us a little something, or maybe Dom would have came out. And of course, the fact of the matter that Dom and Rhea came right after this match would be interesting. So, anyways, there Ripley and Dom, like I said, came out to the ring. Rhea feels like she's not getting enough attention, which is kind of shocking. She doesn't feel she's getting enough attention. I think she got plenty of attention over the weekend. She's all over the Twitter sphere, the X sphere. That's for sure. So she should feel like she's getting attention. But then again, she tells us she feels like she's like a certain someone is not giving her attention or the proper amount of attention. And Becky continues to fight week after week. And she could have attacked Becky, but she decided to be respectful. Now she's getting impatient. Mania's around the corner. Becky should be giving her full attention. I think Shayna Baszler was ready to give Rhea Ripley her full attention. Finish the story, Cody. Yes. Welcome to the show, The Real Wyatt. Hey, Real Wyatt, I got a surprise. Me and Mr. Clarke are working on it. We're going to have a song for you. We're going to have a sing-along. It's coming very soon. We just got to piece it together. So I know you like the singing, so be on the lookout for a music video, Joe Henry-ish, from the Value of Wrestling. So that might get you excited. But yes, Cody's going to finish the story. Anyways, now she's getting impatient. Mania's around the corner. Becky should be giving her full attention. She wants Dom to tell us that, but of course we won't allow that. And Becky's music hits. We get a huge pop. She says, check her out, coming out while Rhea is fresh as a daisy. Unlike Rhea all month, she could never do what Rhea has done. Rhea doesn't wrestle on Raw anymore. Anyways, does she? Rhea wonders why she would want to compete before the biggest match of her career. She doesn't have to wrestle weekly to get these people's attention. She could just post a video online and watch us eat it up. Or X, it's that easy for her. She doesn't have to prove herself weekly. Becky pretends to puke. That this is the problem. They both have different ideas of what a champion is. To Rhea, it's posting her rear end online, but to Becky, it's busting her butt in the ring. There will always be someone newer, younger, hotter, but the long game is skill and merit. Okay, Rhea gets it. Becky is a survivor, a cockroach. She's hard to kill, but it's not impossible. At Mania, she won't kill her, but only because she wants Becky alive so she can sit on her couch, watch Rhea, and sit next to her daughter, listening to her call Rhea Mommy. Becky is pissed now. She says that is her one and only pass. If Rhea mentions her daughter again, that'll be the last word she ever said. It's not funny to her. Becky's dad never got to meet her daughter. She knows she's proud, but what he'd be most proud of is the mother that she became. And maybe a joke to Rhea, but just like the titles, but it's not to Becky. And at Mania, neither of them will be the same again. They go face to face. Dom holds her back. Becky attacks Dom with a right. Rhea sends Becky into the post. She runs out to check on Dom. Becky flies over the steps, and we have a big fight between the two women. This was awesome. This was great. And good stuff here. Good, solid stuff. Great promo. I know it wasn't wrestling, but it definitely helped you get more interested in what's going forward. Both women seem a little more serious than we've been seeing in the last couple of weeks.
I just thought it was great that they referenced the weekend videos. Because
Yes.
that was viral, just so hardcore on X. Although one thing I never understand is, unless the children are being talked about like sincerely, not just a throwaway line, but it's like I kind of get it when Chad Gable talks about, "Oh, you made my daughter cry," talking about Gunther. When Rhea talks about Becky and Seth's daughter Rue, I'm just like, that's really what you get pissy over? I mean, that's open fodder. Like, I would think you would have thicker skin over that.
Yeah.
But overall, I love the segment.
No, this was a good, solid
exactly
segment.
What we needed.
But I mean, the good thing with bringing Becky's daughter in this, we got to feel more of a real Becky than just Becky. I felt like she was more intense now. Now she has something to be fired up about. I'm glad they kind of gave her something more than just winning the title. This feud hadn't been great. It was kind of iffy, but I mean, this really makes you feel like you're ready to get behind Becky and see Becky win now. So I really feel this puts that fire that we needed in this match.
See, I'm not there because I can't choose between them. I love them both.
I know you just want to be Shayna Baszler this weekend, and you just want to be laying there going,
That's a whole nother story. I'm not trying to get thrown off air.
It would be the one time I can guarantee you, Mr. Clarke would sit in the ring and go, yeet.
Shut up, this dude.
Tell me when I'm telling lies, right? Right, Mr. Z. Seth and Becky both need to take some time off and come back more serious and regular time. I think Becky's okay, but I get what you're saying. Seth definitely. I think Seth needs to go away and kind of. I'm over the Joker thing. Like, I need serious Seth. Serious Seth's been so much better than. I need serious Seth right now and what he's doing because I just don't feel he's serious. He's holding on to that Joker Seth way too much, and it just doesn't fit where he's going. The Rock, Cody are serious, Roman serious, and Seth just kind of and just like ugh. Anyways, we're backstage with Sammy. He's walking backstage. He said Chad Gable talking to Maxine. Gable stops. Sammy says he wants to talk, but Sammy ain't having it. Gable doesn't think he can beat Gunther. Gunther doesn't believe he can beat him. Gunther doesn't believe he can beat Breed. Gable says stop, tells Sammy to get his head out of his ass and focus on the task at hand. And Sammy goes, you know what? You're right. They shake hands and Sammy heads off to the ring. And we get Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn. Good solid match. We get a lot of action in the beginning. It looked like Reed controlled most of the match in the beginning, and then we go to commercial break. Sammy's here trying to make a comeback. Eventually, Gunther comes out to watch. Sammy tries for a blue thunder bomb, but Reed escapes. Misses a splash in the corner. Sammy rolls him up for a 2. Sammy tries again for a blue thunder bomb, but Reed flattens him. Big suplex from Reed, looking eerily similar to Andrade's finisher. We get a cover for a 2. Reed is bleeding from the nose. Reed corners Sammy, hits a huge chop, a right, another chop. He sits Sammy on the top rope. Sammy kicks him away in the corner, then locks the head and hits a tornado DDT. Sammy in the corner. He waits for Reed to stand. And big clothesline from Reed. Senton Reed on the top rope. Tsunami 1, 2, 3. And Sammy gets pinned by Bronson Reed because he let Gunther get in. This match went 9 minutes 30 seconds. The big man winning. Gunther causing Sammy to get distracted. Gunther is shown laughing while he heads back. This was a good, solid match. It helped tell the story with Sammy. It's going to be very interesting what they are doing with Sammy. And Bronson Reed getting a big win here. Sure, he'll be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at this point. I don't know what you're going to do with him otherwise. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts?
I don't really have much to add to the match itself. My commentary is backstage. Once we get to that segment.
Anyways, backstage, Jey Uso cuts a promo about Shinsuke Nakamura sleeping on him for way too long. And here comes Solo and Jimmy. And Jimmy tells him, calls Mr. Clarke's famous words, no yeet. No yeet. Backstage, Sammy is tossing stuff around and smacking bottles, and Gable walks up to calm him down. Sammy is pissed. He let Gunther get in his head. How does he let this happen? Gable says that this is what he does. He plants these seeds. Sammy is one of the best. With Gunther, it's mental. He's going to beat Sammy down. Sammy can't let that happen. If Sammy wants to win, he needs a different approach. So we get Sammy acknowledging that Chad Gable, they're going to go have a talk. What they're going to learn or what they're going to do, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. And I guess this is where you have some commentary.
This is what makes me wonder, does Sammy eventually join the Alpha Academy? Is he going to be paired with Chad Gable for a little bit? Maybe if he doesn't officially join the Alpha Academy. It looks like you could put Chad Gable kind of in a managerial role for a little bit. Maybe for Chad to turn on him or something, at some point. I'm really thinking that Sammy is going to go over for the IC title. Just the way the buildup has been.
Yes.
I'm just like, you have to give Sammy a big win at some point here, and especially at WrestleMania.
Jay's getting ready for his match when Seth Rollins runs up and saying to him, if something doesn't feel right, he and Cody got Jay's back. Go get that W. And we get Jey Uso versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And we have a good solid match between these two. Eventually, we go to commercial break. When we come back, we get yeet. We get some uppercuts and kicks. Eventually, we get to Shin to the top rope, roll through, super kick from Jay. Shinsuke bounces off the ropes, running knee to Jey Uso. And then Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa are on the crowd. But here comes Cody and Seth Rollins to prevent the attack. Seth sends Solo into the post while Cody fights Jimmy up the ramp. Here comes Drew McIntyre, who attacks Seth with a future shock DDT. In the ring, Jay stands, but Shinsuke is up to try for an inverted suplex, super kick, spear off of both ropes, and Jey Uso gets a big win over Shinsuke Nakamura. Poor Shinsuke Nakamura not getting many wins these days. I don't know what to say about that. This match went 7 minutes 33 seconds. It was a good, solid match between the two men. Hopefully they do something with Shinsuke after WrestleMania to rebuild him. They had something going. They had something going, and then it just
work.
Yes.
But with all these non-wins, it's just like, as the audience, how can we invest in his credibility? Whether you like him or not, it's whatever. How can we invest in his creativity if he's constantly losing matches?
Yes. No, he lost a bunch to Cody. He's losing to Jay. We need Shinsuke to come back with the character work. Perfect. He has a great character, the heel. Mm-hmm. The vignettes are been great. We just need him to win and feel something important here. So, anyways, we head backstage where Cody is fighting Jimmy. Cody drags Jimmy near the exit. Here comes Solo to attack, but Cody makes a short work of him, beating him down with fists. And then here's The Rock. He grabs Cody, slams his head on the table. He talks some crap, tells Cody to look at himself now. He sends Cody into a trash can, then grabs it and tosses it on Cody's head. The Rock with the right hand telling Cody he wasn't going to let him get away with trash talking him the last 2 weeks. Cody grabs a toolbox, which has a cowbell for some reason. The Rock drags Cody out of a door. There's a bus waiting. It's perfect, says The Rock. He's got our attention now, doesn't he? The Rock rips Cody's shirt off. They're out in the ring. The Rock with a right as they fight alongside Cody's bus. It was Cody's bus. Rock kicks Cody down, telling him to get up, boy. The Rock sends Cody into the door of the private bus, of Cody's bus. The Rock grabs the camera, yells that he is the final boss. At the end of the day, to all the Cody crybabies, to Mama Rhodes, it didn't have to be like this. It is now because of Cody. He stuck his nose in The Rock's business. Rhodes is bleeding now. The Rock goes over to him, slaps him in the face, and says that he has a special gift. He pulls off the belt that says, his weight belt that says he was wearing, that says Mama Rhodes. He grabs the thumb of Cody's blood, talks about the prophecy coming true that he was going to put Cody's blood on the belt. And he rubs blood on his hand and he puts it on the belt. Rock tells Cody his daddy never knew about hard times, but Cody does. His daddy knew about hard times, but Cody doesn't. He's going to learn Cody about hard times. This is what happens. He sends Cody face first into the door of the bus and stands over him with the belt in hand. The Rock spits on Cody, then gives Mama Rhodes one last message. This is the only way. Look at your son. Look at your son. And we go off air with a massive beatdown from The Rock on the Cody. Cody busted open. The Rock with Mama Rhodes' belt, rubbing the blood over it. We got a beatdown that you haven't seen backstage, outdoor, in the rain. A beatdown we just haven't seen in a long time on WWE TV. What a way to end the show. Great stuff. Mr. Clarke.
It feels like it's been 15, 20 years since we've seen a beatdown like that outside the arena.
Yeah.
Make it feel more real. It's like, we know it's a part of the show, but by the same token, the aggressiveness, this is what we wanted from The Rock to begin with, is that aggression, whether it's in a promo, whether it's in actions. And I can't stop hearing, look at you now, boy! Look at you now! I'm just like, dude.
No.
It was great.
We had a great way to end Raw. This Raw was great. Probably the best Raw of the year so far. I see we have 6 votes in here today. So we're at 50%. This was awesome. 17%. This was a good show. And 33% for its average. So little mixed feelings there. Some people really, really liked this show. Other people thought this was a good average show. It is what it is.
No one said, is it Wednesday yet? Like, it wasn't so bad.
Yes.
That you'll wait for Wednesday.
You may get more wrestling on Wednesday, but you don't really get any reason to watch the next week's show. So, I mean, hey, it is to each of your own. Like what you like, love what you hate, and do what you do.
Yeah. Usually I'm just well with if you have good enough wrestling. But you do have to have some story.
You have to have something to bring me back for the next week. Anyways, that is your Monday Night Raw post-show review. I'm glad we could get here earlier and get interaction. We thank you for joining us in the chat and the conversation. We thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button if you're in here. Let's get the likes out. Share this out with everybody you know, friends, family, everybody who loves professional wrestling. Let them know that the value of wrestling was here on the post-show, doing a live Monday Night Raw review. If you're watching this later, go ahead and leave your comments, your thoughts below. Give us a thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to grow, always working on growing, moving forward. And that's always a big deal
my question
here.
Is this, whether you're live or whether you're watching later on, drop a comment below. What was your favorite segment? What did you enjoy about the show?
Yes. And, of course, we have a song coming out real soon. We're going to put that together. And, of course, tomorrow is Tuesday, and Tuesday brings you the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound Podcast with Miguel Z. He brings you that every Tuesday, telling you what's going on in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So be ready for that coming out tomorrow. And we'll be back Wednesday, me and Mr. Clarke, to break down another AEW Dynamite. Who knows what's going to happen? We know Will Ospreay is going to be on this show. Wrestling Shibata. I think Okada's supposed to be on this show. I'm sure Mercedes Moné is going to be in some fashion or form there. I think there's a couple good matches on the card, at least on paper. How it's going to play out, I don't know. Oh, we have the We have the Tampon Bucks taking on Private Party to move forward in the tag team tournament. So yeah, we get to see all that fun. Whoopie freaking do. Yeah, I know it's a little hard to get excited, but we'll get there.
It's a tampon buck. It's a tampon buck party.
It's a Tampon Bucks with a single string party. Anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us. Of course, also on Thursdays is your weekend preview, which covers everything from wrestling from that Thursday to the next Wednesday. And then on Fridays, we're back here with SmackDown. There'll be no show on next Saturday yet. And then we'll be on the 31st. We'll be Sunday back with the Value of Wrestling weekly roundup, where we round up everything in this week. And we'll be doing big talks. We'll be getting ready. We'll probably be doing our predictions for what we feel is going to go down on WrestleMania, because the card should be pretty much solidified, hopefully. There may be a couple more matches, like a Andre the Giant Battle Memorial Battle Royal. I swear I can get those words out. But we'll probably be giving our predictions on the main important matches that are going to come out of that show. And so that'll probably happen on Sunday. And then we're going to be here both WrestleMania Night 1 and WrestleMania Night 2 with post-show reviews to go over everything that's going on, because this is going to be a hot WrestleMania. Lots of stuff going down. And, of course, next Monday, it's Raw. The Rock is advertised along with Roman Reigns now, so that's going to be interesting. SmackDown should be interesting. Lots of going on. Luckily, there's not a lot of breaking news in the wrestling world. We've covered what needs to be out there, so yeah.
I mean, everything's gearing towards WrestleMania, so
Exactly.
that's also partially why.
What are your final statements for this show? What do you have to say before we get out of here? Say la-di-da-di, good night, so long, farewell, goodbye.
Man, get ready for SmackDown. We gotta continue towards that WrestleMania rush. Yeah, get that fix, man. Get that fix.
No, this is true.
Until Wednesday. Good night.
Exactly, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you on Wednesday. Tomorrow will be Tuesday with Miguel Z bringing you the weekly or the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast. So make sure you tune in for that. Otherwise, I don't see anything in the chat to talk about. We appreciate you all being here. We appreciate you all for voting. And we will see you on the next one. Let me get back over here. Got to get to the right channel and put that up.